Hello and welcome. Oh wait, there we go. Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. Here to discuss the Tennessee Titans and how training camp is going. I already went ahead and showed the DeAndre Hopkins catch we will return to in a moment. I forgot that scene was already playing. But we have some things coming out of training camp. We're going to circle back to Hopkins. But first, let's get into Chris Hubbard. So the Tennessee Titans went out and they got offensive tackle Chris Hubbard, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, and they've gotten him to, in my opinion, compete for the starting right tackle position. I don't think that he's definitively the starter, while he is the one guy on this roster that now has the most experience to start at the right tackle position. Outside of, no, even more than Andre Dillard, actually. He literally has he has more experience than Andre Dillard. While that is the case, I still don't know if he's going to beat out Jamarco Jones and Jalen Duncan. I don't know. Because last time he played for the Browns, or significant snaps for the Browns, he really wasn't good at all. In fact, Chris Hubbard was the right tackle that the Browns went out and got Jack Conklin to replace. They went out and got our boy Jack Conklin, or our former boy Jack Conklin, to replace Chris Hubbard because they were tired of him at the right tackle position. And since then, Jack Conklin has been way better than him, and their run game has absolutely taken off. Chris Hubbard has historically been awful when it comes to run blocking and very shoddy when it comes to pass protection. In fact, his last 2 seasons playing significant snaps as a Cleveland Brown right tackle, starting tackle, he gave up 6 sacks in both seasons, gave up 38 pressures in 2019 and 42 pressures in 2018. It's pretty awful. I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, usually the worst is like 10, 11, 12. Dennis Daly had like 11 or 12 last season. Oh my God, yeah. But it's still pretty bad, especially from a right tackle. You expect to see better numbers from this. And then his run blocking grades, you look at Pro Football Focus, 38.5 in 2019 and 48.7 in 2018. 2019 was now 4 years ago. Okay? Since then, he's played sparingly. He played 290 snaps in 2020, so you can glean something from that, but not too much. So he's not great. Now, people wanted George Fant, and I think George Fant would have been better for sure, or maybe not for sure, most likely. I will remind people, though, that last year George Fant was absolutely terrible, and he was terrible at both left tackle and right tackle. In only 516 snaps, George Fant gave up 5 sacks. So if he would have started the entire season, he would have given up double-digit sacks, or at least he was on pace for it. He gave up 27 pressures as well. And 8 quarterback hits. I mean, that's pretty awful. He had his worst year probably since his rookie year in Seattle. He was awful. Now, I think part of that was also due to, Mike White, Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, that whole rotating nonsense that's happening in New York, the offensive coordinator, and all that drama. I think that was part of it. But George Fant isn't particularly good either, guys. So he was good in 2021. He only gave up 1 sack that year, and still wasn't great in terms of run blocking, but only gave up 1 sack in 2021. So maybe 22 is just down year, but 2020 was awful. I mean, he was absolutely terrible last year. So look, I mean, for the money situation at this point, we don't have much money left in terms of the salary cap. And it's being reported that George Fant declined the offer because it was too low for him. And I mean, we're at a point now where, I mean, let me check what our current cap situation is, but I don't even know if we have even $3 million at this point to our name for the salary cap. I'd be very surprised. Oh no, apparently we have still 13 million when it comes to the top 51. That's very surprising. I did not think it was going to be that high. So, I mean, you could have offered him more, but also you do want to have some flexibility if you want to do stuff at the trade deadline. 13 million of that's way more than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like 3, 4, 5 million, but I guess with some of the restructuring with Bayard, and then, DeAndre Hopkins only having a $3.6 million base salary makes us have a expected cap space of 13 million, though. That's maybe you should have just got Fant, though. I did not know it was that high. If it's 13 million, you might as well have just paid a little more for George Fant and been a little more safe. I mean, I think we're talking about a 1 or 2 million. Also, apparently George Fant believed that he was good enough to start for the rest of the season. He thought he was going to come in here and win the starting job over Nicholas Petit-Frere, be able to perform well over those first 6 games, and then win the starting right tackle job, and then perform well throughout the season and earn more money. Apparently, that's what he believes, and that's what he's holding out for. So if one of these big tackles go down in training camp, he's going to be looking to sign there and get more money. I don't blame the man. I mean, I think we probably signed Chris Hubbard for $2 to $3 million. And then Fant probably looking for 5 to 7. You know, that's what he thinks he deserves. So, you know, good for him. We'll see if he gets that and what happens there. But Chris Hubbard coming into the fold, we'll see. You know, again, the fact that he hasn't played much since at the very least 2020, but really 2019, and the fact that he was bad is not good. I don't think we're looking at another Dennis Daly situation here, but it's not good. Remember, this is who Jack Conklin replaced. All right, so with that said, let's move on to DeAndre Hopkins. So now let's get back to the highlights. So we have this highlight from camp, and now this is what I'm talking about. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. When people wanted to show DeAndre Hopkins running damn drills and saying, oh, well, look at this. DeAndre Hopkins is in town. Oh, well, we don't have to worry about DeAndre Hopkins. He's obviously better than Julio Jones. This isn't a Julio Jones. I'm like, wait a minute, guys, calm down. We got to see a little. Now we see a little more. Now, but what are we seeing? So, I mean, this is him going against Christian Fulton. Christian Fulton, pretty damn good coverage, but Hopkins doing what he needs to do at his advanced age. And he's not a speed guy, particularly now. Being able to time the ball in the air better than Fulton, keep his eyes on it, have strong hands, strong fingers, hold on to the ball and come down with it. This is what you're going to see from DeAndre Hopkins. This is what he's going to have to do on a regular basis because he doesn't have that separating ability like he used to. And again, he was never a speed guy anyway, but, you know, again, he's 31 now. But showing this ability to come down with this catch, this is what you want to see. This is what you like to see. And that is, you know, elite-ish traits that you want to see. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and go ahead and bet the over that he's going to have over 1,000 yards even yet. I'm still not even particularly doing that just because I know our offense. This is I know Tannehill in this offense. Although it's a different offense with Tim Kelly. But this is the type of stuff that's going to excite you. And then you even saw Treylon Burks running some good routes today. He was showing a little bit of improved speed and precision and, you know, advancement in terms of his route running, in terms of his ability. So you're seeing more things from him. So I like what I'm seeing there when it comes to Treylon Burks. I want to see more when it comes to Treylon Burks. So that situation's been going on. We had some other things come down today. So out today, I think was, Jamarco Jones at right tackle. So Jalen Dawkins got run at right tackle. There wasn't really any reports on how he performed. However, on the left side, Andre Dillard has apparently been getting a little worked by Arden Key. So this is a little interesting. What's going on with that situation? Is Arden Key really that good? And by the way, Arden Key is a guy who at one point was considered to be heading into his final year at LSU, a top 5 pick. But his final year at LSU, he didn't produce much. I think he might have got hurt, and then he went later in the draft, 3rd round, and then didn't really ever meet expectations. Maybe he met 3rd round expectations. We can say that. But he didn't meet expectations of what people thought he was after his 1st or 2nd year at LSU, and particularly coming out of high school as well. So he's a bit of a practice monster, right? So you have to consider that. I mean, I do think he's going to do well here. I think he's going to do about what he did last season, which I think everyone's, 7.5 sacks, 8 sacks. I don't think people are expecting double digits, although we'll take it. I mean, with Budru Pre-gone him, and he certainly could. I'll give him a shot. But Andre Dillard, it's interesting because, again, I mean, Vrabel's basically already said that Dillard is the starting left tackle, that we just want to continue to play Skoronski at guard, and considering the situation at right tackle, I don't think anyone else is going to get run at left tackle because we just got to figure out the right tackle position. So Dillard's just in there. Dillard has the job. I mean, I think we need to do some switching with Skoronski eventually. If this continues, now again, you really want to see it when these linemen get the pads on. You're able to see Dillard actually be able to use his strength, key being the physical specimen that he can. Without the pads, he's going to be able to use his bend, his agility, his athleticism a little more in these type of circumstances and situations than he will when the pads are on, than he is when in preseason and into the regular season as well. So consider that heavily, but it's still like, you're going to keep getting beat Andre Dillard because we can't afford to have a problem at left tackle. We already have a problem when it comes to right tackle. Left tackle cannot join that discussion. So hopefully we get some better headlines when it comes to Andre Dillard. But the good thing is we don't have any injury headlines, right? Another day, no injuries. Tomorrow is the open to the public. So it's going to be interesting. The public's opinions on these training camp periods and not just the media. So that'll be good to see as well. Let's see, was there anything else? Tannehill was apparently cooking today. He hit Hopkins a couple times. He hit Chig. Chig Okonkwo was looking good. Byard had a good pass breakup on him. So Byard is still looking good. And that's about it. So training camp continued to progress. But again, the big catch here, by the way, this comes via Paul Kuharski, NFL on Twitter, or now I should say X. This is what you want to see from DeAndre Hopkins. This is the type of play that gets you excited. This is what you want to see. If he's able to provide this sort of play for us this upcoming season, it's something certainly to look forward to. Real quick, I want to get to one of the super chats. There was a super chat that came on right before I went live, so I always got to get to the super chats. And it says the following. It says... And this is from Tighten Up. He says, I heard he's worse than Dennis Daly, SMH. No, I don't think he's worse than Dennis Daly. He's referring to Chris Hubbard. No, I mean, Dennis Daly, who's worse than Dennis Daly? I mean, seriously. I don't think anyone in the history of the league is worse than Dennis Daly. He literally, last season, was that bad. He was a turnstile. That's absolutely what he was. So I don't think you're going to get worse than Dennis Daly. I can't see that. Now, again, is he good? I don't think so. And again, it just concerns me that was 4 years ago. No, he's still luckily not that old for a lineman. So what would that put him? He is 32. Yeah, you should still be able to produce as a lineman at 32. You're a lineman. So his athleticism shouldn't be a problem. Maybe he's gotten better with age and being a backup to Conklin and Jedrick Wills. I don't know. But we'll see. Luckily, he hasn't had to play much for them, but we are definitely going to find out. Thank you for the super chat. Tighten up. So there you go. That's going to do it for me here, MJ. What are your thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins' highlight catch in training camp and the Titans signing Chris Hubbard? Comment down below. I want to know. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.